Alright, so spawning in the top left here, we got Team LgN's Trump, and his opponent in the bottom left is going to be TandemFelix as the purple Terran. Both players are Terran, so it is another TVT. Last game we saw TandemFelix do a little bit of an all-in with a Marine siege tank push, but we will see if he's going to go for the same thing or if he's going to change his mind a little bit. Looks like Trump is not interested in discussing Heart of the Swarm. He wants to know whether a 1-Rex expand is going to work well or not. Oh, TandemFelix saying he just beat him with a build he'd never done before. He's throwing down the gauntlet, if you will. Yeah, I agree. The Viper does look really scary. That's the new Zerg unit that can pull your units like across, probably across like a screen's worth. It's got a range of like 10, it looks like, and you pull them into your army, so you can just decimate them one at a time. Terran players would like the new Goliath. It's like a little mini Thor, basically, and then there's the Mega Thor as well that's happening. Trump builds Thors every game. Of course he's gonna get the Mega Thor, but I can't talk to him because I'm not a ref. So otherwise, I would totally point that out to him. So no gas from either player. So it looks like Felix is not going to be going for the all-in this time. He's going to be doing, I would call it a little bit more standard, but he's probably going to be expanding very soon. Maybe making a second barracks. But, you know, a reasonably quick expansion. And Trump is about 10 seconds ahead on his orbital command. Kind of strange, considering they're doing basically the same build. And Trump is throwing down his expansion command center. He is behind one food, so that's probably where the difference comes in. Meanwhile, TandemFelix is being really annoying on this worker. Trump doesn't have any other extra SCVs, so he is able to force a little bit of a delay on this command center, which is great because that kind of makes up the economic disadvantage and allows him to start his own command center. So he's actually going to pull ahead of Trump slightly, since he's got these Marines, he's got these defensive structures, and he was able to sort of slow down the construction. Oh no, he's not pulling ahead, but he was able to slow down construction on this command center as well. He does have the Marine advantage. He's up, I think, yeah, he's up. He's even in Marines, but his third Marine is, no, he's 3 Marines to 2. Slight advantage. Trump's going to move out, probably just take the watchtower, because I believe his SCV died in Felix's base, so he should know that Felix has more Marines than he does. So it would be unwise to try to attack with this, because 3 Marines are always going to beat 2. But taking that watchtower gives him a little bit of map vision and sort of control and some situational awareness. See Felix throwing down 2 more barracks, and Trump already has 2 barracks, but he hasn't started the 3rd. Instead, he's taken both of his gas geysers, whereas Felix hasn't taken any gas geysers yet. So we're going to see Trump tech up pretty quickly here, and he's already started the factory. So I imagine he's going to go into siege tanks, and it'll be sort of the standard TVT with Marines and siege tanks moving across the map. Still no gas out of TandemFelix. I'm really surprised. This is quite late in the game. He's making only barracks and only Marines. Alright, there goes the first gas geyser. And meanwhile, Trump's already started his starport, so he's going to be able to start doing drops soon. He's got his tech lab going on this factory, so he'll be getting siege tanks very soon. He does only have 2 barracks, though, so he's going to need to expand on this very quickly to get a little bit more unit production, because he's starting to float some money. He's having trouble spending it. Here comes the first push from Felix. Looks like he's got 12 Marines, Trump's going to lose all 4 of these Marines at the watchtower, which is, I think, pretty bad for him, considering their even supply. Well, no, he's down by supply now, and he's only got 3 more Marines back in his base. Oh yeah, he did spot this, so he can run away, of course, but he is disadvantaged in Marine numbers, and he doesn't have any bunkers. If he had some bunkers, he'd probably be in much better shape against this attack. But with no bunkers, I'm pretty concerned for him. If he can get a medevac out, he doesn't have any production, but if he can get him, there goes the medevac. If he can get that out before these Marines come up here and kill him, then he'll be fine. And this siege tank, of course, is actually going to throw the numbers into his favor pretty significantly. So TandemFelix makes the right decision and decides to retreat. He's got some reinforcements coming out, but I don't think it's enough extra Marines to overcome the siege tank. Siege tank is almost done, so especially once this gets deployed, it's just going to chew through Marines. Trump is going to sacrifice 2 Marines just to check on where Felix's army is and how big it is, and so he sees that it's a pretty big wall of Marines. I wouldn't expect him to have gotten an accurate count, but he knows there's a lot of Marines out there, so he has to keep making units. Looks like Felix is going to try to take a 3rd base here, so that he can get sort of an economic advantage. He's got a strong army, but he's behind in tech, so he needs to get ahead in economy if he wants to be able to continue to make units and catch up in technology. Because if he tried to stay even in tech, then Trump is always going to have more units or better units or both. But by taking this economic risk, he can try to put himself into a position where he can produce the same number of units as Trump and expand his technology at a faster rate, which is, of course, is how he can get back on even footing. And looks like Trump's going to start playing some tank hopscotch. He's got his medevacs doing a little bit of spotting. Picks off a couple of Marines, and someone's pinging, so now I'm tempted to see. It looks like he's going for his 3rd command center as well, so he won't let Felix get any kind of significant advantage out of this. He's basically just 100 seconds behind him. So looks like Trump's going to set up outside the natural and do something pretty similar to what we saw Felix doing last game, where he had these siege tanks set up on the low ground here, and then some air units would spot the high ground. But he doesn't have any vision anymore because all these medevacs got sniped. I'm a little surprised he didn't throw down a scan, but I guess he decided, I mean, he's got enough energy for it. He's got a lot of energy, actually. He needs to call down some more mules. But I guess he decided that it wasn't worth it. He didn't have these siege tanks in good enough position to kill workers, so he didn't want to waste the scan on it. At the same time, we see that Felix is making a starport, so he's slowly getting caught up. You know, he's got this factory, he's getting his tech lab, so he's really far behind on tanks. He's getting his starport, and he managed to reset Trump's medevac count, so he only has this 1, I believe, now. He's probably got some more on the way. But he only has this 1 medevac, and then he had to pause production to get this reactor. So when he lost all these medevacs in that battle, that actually undid a significant amount of his technological advantage, because it really let Felix catch up in the medevac count. Both players have their 3rd going. Well, there's no one mining at Trump's 3rd, and he hasn't even started morphing it yet. Whereas there's already an orbital command down here, and there's a bunch of SCVs transferring in. But these are the SCVs that used to be at the natural, so he's effectively still only on 2 bases. Looks like he's going to try to run around here and go for a flank. He's got stim and combat shield, and Trump's Marines do not have stim or combat shield. He has no... that's actually kind of surprising. He's only just now got combat shield most of the way done, and he's just gotten his +1 attack. Felix is still at 0-0, of course, but combat shield is... an incredibly useful upgrade, and then stim is basically, you know, doubles the Marine DPS, so he might as well have gotten an attack upgrade by getting stim. If Trump sees this scan, of course that's going to give away that there's an attack moving in, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him pull these units back. But it looks like he's going to leave this army by the natural and hope that his 2 siege tanks can handle this Marine force. And they pretty much can. Oh, he's got a ton of extra Marines over here. I didn't see them. He does lose 1 siege tank, but overall that went pretty strongly in his favor. He's pulled ahead by 50 supply now. So, Terran's very resilient. Like, you can do a lot of worker damage and then they'll still be able to come back, but I think it's safe to say that Trump has pulled into a significant advantage here. He's taking his 4th command center. He's still pressuring this natural. He's denied mining here, and Felix hasn't been able to take his normal third here. So he's really still sitting on 2 bases. And it looks like Trump's going to move in for what I would call the kill now. Oh, these tanks siege up in range, so he's going to be able to snipe that siege tank pretty quickly. Nope, he doesn't focus it down. He needed to focus that tank down. Okay, there we go. He's got a huge marine advantage, so he doesn't have any medevac support, but if he can lure these marines into his tank line, then he'll have no problem killing them. I'm a little surprised he's not leapfrogging these tanks forward at the same time, because these marines are just chilling now. Oh, there we go. Back 2 tanks move up here. They'll siege up, and then 2 more tanks move forward. I'm a little bit disappointed Trump keeps sacrificing his medevacs. He just lost another one, but here come 2 more. He's floating an insane amount of money. He needs to get some more production structures going at his base. He's only got 4 barracks, 1 factory, and 1 starport. It's a little bit too little for his 4 bases. Oh, and he loses another medevac. He totally didn't need to lose that. Loses a siege tank. He's going to lose another siege tank. I'm a little surprised. He's kind of he had a pretty strong advantage in terms of tech, like, you know, because it's not just about having siege tech first, it's about having more siege tanks because you were able to make them longer. But he's really lost a bunch, and he's really lost a lot of medevacs. So Felix feels pretty safe with these 3 siege tanks here because Trump really can't move in. So looks like he's going to go for a pretty strong drop up here. He's easily going to pick off this base, and then he could try to continue into the main. And that can force Trump to just run in with all of his units. And if Felix gets enough siege tanks up here, like if he gets to... He's got 5 now, he needs to siege these up. If he gets 6 siege tanks going, he could do an insane amount of damage to any kind of marine ball. Oh, loses 1, and some more stutter step. Trump might be able to snipe the second one. Nope. Runs into some mineral patches. So Felix is going to be able to drop the main as well. Probably pick off a bunch of these SCVs. Unfortunately, that attack did not do enough damage, so he wasn't able to force Trump to essentially be required to go for the base trade. He's got so many siege tanks here that he could easily crush this marine army. But if Trump were to attack while he's unsieged, it would end very poorly for him. He sieges up and he manages to draw out a couple more marines. At this point, I think Trump is getting suspicious, so he's going to pull off a big chunk of his marine army and come down. What are these SCVs doing? Anyway, he's going to pull off a big chunk of his marine army and come scout over here, spot this base here, and then he's really going to shut down Felix's income even further. He's going to be basically back to 1 base. And I think that's going to spell GG. He's up 100 food now. It looks like Felix is going for the bum rush out here, siege tanks, but